The absence of light can be as revealing as light itself, as Exploratorium artist Bob Miller explains.
Now here's some nice ones. See the shadows of the trees here on the ground. Well, if you use a white board, they show up a lot better. And it's kind of fun. You can't have a shadow without having some light. So it's kind of instructive to actually look at the light that's reaching the board. The light that comes through the holes in between the trees reaches the board and it's round because the holes in between the leaves act just like pinholes. So you get round images of the sun every place you got a hole in between the leaves. Well, if light is images and shadows are blocking light, in some sense then shadows are really blocking images. And that does lead to some nice surprises. Let's go over and look at some shadows in the direct sunlight. Here we can use a board that has some different shaped holes. As we let the light go through the holes, each one of those spots of light resolves into a round image of the sun, independent of the shape of the hole. Here we got some diffuse white light again, like we had outside with the sunlight. But in this case, we've got cross-fluorescent tubes as our light source. Looks the same as it did outside, diffuse white light. But take a look, it's really different. Here's a hole in a panel. I pull that back, and we look at the light that goes through the hole and reaches the screen, and you can see that it's in the form of an image of the cross-fluorescent tubes. It's obviously the light going through that hole. If I put my finger over the hole, the image disappears. So if instead of a hole, I take this black dot and put the black dot out here where that hole was, this black dot is going to block the light that went through the hole. And sure enough, the shadow of this black dot is a missing image of the cross-fluorescent tubes. With a grease pencil, I can put another little dot here on the panel. And we can see that that dot also blocks an image of the cross-fluorescent. So the shadow of that dot puts a missing image. If I put another dot here, we get another missing image. In fact, I can put so many, this turns just into a black opaque bar there. And the shadow that you can see is made up of a whole bunch of missing images of the cross-fluorescent tube, just as the shadow of my finger would be. In fact, I could use the shadow of my finger. So every little part of my finger, my hand, my arm, anything that casts a shadow, each small part of that object is blocking an image of the light source, in this case, images of the cross-fluorescent tubes. So you can see that the structure around the edge of the shadow gives you a lot of information about where the light is coming from.